This is the Feeder Flow podcast, exclusive content only. I've asked some of my closest friends to come on here and chit chat with me about all things sexuality, tapping into your femininity, dating and relationship advice, body image solutions, your moon cycle and all you need to know about it, how to be attractive, becoming a magnet for what you want in life, rising into your power as a well-nourished woman, and most importantly, living life in your flow. There's no censorship here. My guest and I from around the world are going to vulnerably share what we think and feel, and it's going to be epic. So let's start flowing.
Can we pause real quick here? Wait,
Yeah.
I really want you to finish that, but just I know someone is sitting here going please describe the feminine a little bit more. Please
Yeah,
describe
true.
the masculine. Can you give me in just a quick elevator pitch of both? What is the feminine energy? What is the masculine energy predominantly?
Yeah, so overall the feminine is going to be the more intuition based, more fluidity, right? And flowy. I would say fluidity is a really good word, less leaning on the structure and needing things to be one way and more having the broad way of thinking, right? Kind of that open-hearted, open-minded point of view.
I would say the feminine eats because something tastes good and is pleasurable. The masculine would eat because it's nutrition and it's, and it's a macronutrient. It's facts, right? It's like this many calories. And it's so funny because I hear my boyfriend say that all the time. He's like, well, I need 100 grams of protein every single day. And where is this and where is that? And he thinks about nutrition and way more of an analytical way than I'm just I don't know, babe. I get protein in. And he's like, but how much protein? I'm like, I don't know. I eat protein when I feel like eating protein.
Yeah.
He's not hounding me like that. And he doesn't have an unhealthy relationship to food. It's just simply how his brain works. He's like, well, tonight I need this much of protein because I didn't get it in lunch. It's just funny. But anyways, that's just one example of maybe that the intuition versus this structure and the mathematical kind of approach to things. So then what's the masculine?
Yeah, so the masculine I would say is more mind oriented, right? It's more of that analytical kind of thinking of the facts and the data and things like that. Versus the feminine is more body oriented and how you feel, like you were saying, taste and sensual, all of your senses, right? Being really in tune with your senses. Whereas the masculine is more just how it is, thinking, really thinking of the details and having structure and just
a little bit more rigid.
Yeah, rigid, for sure. Where we need that, though, in different aspects. Yeah. It's very important. I like to think of the unity between the two as a glass, a mug with water in it, right? The feminine would just be all over the place, spilling everywhere, the water, if it didn't have the masculine container, the mug, right?
Okay, so let me take that analogy. For you girls listening, I can pretty much guarantee you that you have taken this mug full of water and you've thrown out the water and you've put cement in the middle of this mug.
Yeah.
You become way too masculine. It's not even just way too masculine. It's, I hate this word. I don't want to use it. Not toxic masculinity. It's unbalanced masculinity. Let me put it that way. You're super type A, super perfectionistic. It's not that you have a structure. It's that the structure must be followed to a T, right? Yep. You have to wake up at this time. You have to go to bed at this time. You have to eat at this time. You have to eat this much amount of food. And everything just becomes so rigid and structured. And it really permeates into all areas of your life.
Oh, yeah.
And then a lot of the girls that I work with are really frustrated that they can't find a good partner or that they're having a lot of issues with their partner. And I'm like, that's because you're dating a predominantly masculine male, a male who wants to be in his masculine energy. There are more feminine males, but these girls are I want someone to provide, protect. I want him to really lead. I want him to take charge of things. And I'm like, well, you're too busy taking charge of everything.
Yeah.
You're not giving him space to step into that because you've stepped into this hyper masculine place that it's going to cause the polarity to shift.
Mm-hmm.
If I all of a sudden, or let's say this, if we started dancing, right? So let's say we started dancing salsa together.
Mm-hmm.
One of us has to choose who's going to lead. It wouldn't work if both Maya and I tried to lead. Like, who's spinning who? Like, that doesn't ever work.
Yeah.
Someone has to be surrendering. Someone has to be leading. When you are trying to find divine partnership and both of you guys are in your masculine, you guys are both trying to lead, and it's going to cause either a ton of friction and your man's going to be super upset, or it's going to cause your man to become feminized, and he's no longer going to plan dates. He's no longer going to take charge. He's no longer going to provide and protect. He's going to step way back.
Yeah, totally. Like, in order to attract a masculine man, you have to stop being one, right? Which is pretty hard to hear, but it's the truth, you know? Like, we at our natural essence, the feminine essence, want all of that, right? To be taken care of and to have that within our relationship when we start to embody our feminine essence. But like she was saying, it's almost impossible when you're portraying that energy yourself, because the masculine and the feminine are meant to come to union and together, whether that be in your relationships and within you. You know what I mean?
So notice for a second, for you girls listening, notice, like, where am I stepping into my masculine? For a lot of you guys, the most obvious, like we've been talking about, food, exercise. Everything has to be timed, has to be certain reps, has to be for a certain amount of time. Like, I'm going for 40 minutes or whatever it is. It's not about how you feel that day. It's about today's leg day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like there's no other option but today's leg day. So notice in those areas how you are really stepping into your masculine. You're no longer asking yourself, what do I feel like? You're trying to get from a book or an outside source, from the logical mind. You're trying to figure out what to eat. So notice that. But then notice, even in the small things, notice how you don't receive compliments. Receiving is very much a feminine thing, right? Even in the very nature and act of sex, a woman opens up and receives, right? Man comes into her, she receives and opens up. If you're having problems receiving even just the smallest things like gifts or compliments or help or anything like that, like, that's where you've stepped way too far into that like hyper masculine state and you've lost your softness.
Yeah.
You've been in a relationship for 4 years.
Yeah.
We were just talking about how that might come to an end, but in your relationship, has it been crucial for you guys throughout this evolution of the 4 years of you guys being together? Has it been crucial for you to step back and to learn how to receive and open up and allow him to take charge of things?
Yes, totally. So when we first got together, I was still very much so in my masculine, and so was he. So we would clash so hard when it came to control, right?
Like, what did that look like on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, so anytime, you know, like, I would always need things to be a certain way, right? And he would also need things to be a certain way. And it was like, we would always be clashing in that aspect because I was always trying to take charge. And that's not to say, you know, being embodied in your feminine and your masculine, like, you just completely surrender to the point where you just like flow with the wind and whatever people tell you. Like, you have your boundaries and you express your truth and what you want. However, when it's this controlling matter where you're constantly trying to control your partner, which was the case for me, it becomes very unhealthy really fast. And there's a lot of tension and a lot of friction there because there's this control aspect that's constantly like rubbing up against each other.
Do you want to know what that control feels like to a man?
Yeah.
What feminine figure in his life controlled him?
His mom.
His mom.
Yeah.
You end up mothering a man. There's nothing that a 30-year-old something man hates more than his girl nagging him, trying to control him, and mothering him.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I hope you liked that short clip from the Feed or Flow podcast. The Feed or Flow podcast is now only being downloaded in my Flow membership. The Flow membership is my recovery community. It's a place where women from around the world are gathering to be supported and guided through their journey of getting their period back, healing their metabolism, and finding food freedom. If you're someone who is in quasi-recovery and is really looking to take that next step into fully recovered, the community is for you. The reason why the community is very powerful and has been of such support in so many people getting to this place of fully recovered is we do group coaching calls every single week. We have a weekly food challenge that we all do together, so you get inspired from the other girls around you who are taking the steps to conquering their food fears. It's really inspirational. They're cheering you on. It helps you just get those challenges done. We have the exclusive podcast where I'm talking to some of my favorite people in the world. We're having raw, deep, vulnerable conversations on a myriad of topics, all helping you to be a strong, well-nourished feminine woman. The clip you just watched was just a quick 10 minutes of the full 60-minute length podcast that was downloaded in the Flow membership. In the Flow membership, you have access to the chats 24/7, meaning when you need help the most, someone is there to support you. You also have me there supporting you the whole way, and you're more than welcome to message me privately to get some extra support on anything you're going through. One of the newest additions to the Flow membership is our cooking class. Twice a month, I am doing a cooking class with you guys, teaching you how to prepare a nutritive meal that's gonna be very supportive for you in your recovery. This community has been a game changer for so many, and for only $66 a month, you can be a part of this too. Click the link down below and you can join us in the Flow membership. I'll see you there.